We finished building our home about 2 years ago, and by some standards, it might be considered kind of a small home for our large family. But today I want to share with you 7 reasons why we love living in our small and simple home. Welcome back to the cottage, everyone. I share on this channel a lot about minimalism and simple living, and through it all I showcase quite a bit of our cottage, and I've gotten a lot of questions and comments about our space, and sometimes people wonder how we're able to live in this smaller home with our large family. But before I get into that, I just want to say that the word small is a relative term. Our house might be considered quite large to some of you in comparison. Just keep that in mind when watching this video. We have a family of 7, and by average American standards, our house would be considered fairly small. So when we set out to design our house, we actually made the decision to make it a smaller home than average, and the main reason behind that, well, one of the main reasons behind that was because of budget constraints. And even though we did build before the pandemic and all of the huge price increases, the cost to build a new house is quite substantial, and to keep the costs down, we decided that we would build a more simple footprint and a smaller footprint, and so that is what we did. And that is my first reasons why we love living in a smaller home, because our mortgage cost is less and we have less utility bills, and we really enjoy having that financial freedom that it brings us. It frees up money to do other things like saving or paying for our children to go to a private Christian school, and it just really opens up a lot of extra possibilities to do with our money. Another thing that was done quite intentionally while we were designing, and another reason why I love living in our smaller home, is that we don't have a lot of extra storage space. And I know that sounds kind of countercultural, but we actually decided not to add in any walk-in closets, any extra storage spaces. We eliminated upper cabinets in our kitchen and only have a small bit of cabinetry in our mudroom laundry space. And that was done so that we were sure not to hold on to extra things. I think that sometimes in larger houses where we have maybe a spare bedroom or a really large attached garage, it's just a lot easier to kind of keep those things just in case. And we didn't want to do that here. We wanted to make sure that everything that we had was right there at our fingertips, and nothing was like hidden back in some dark storage space that we didn't even remember was there. And that just allows us to constantly be going through our things and making sure that they are useful and are valuable to our lives. And it also ensures that we are using the things that we do keep around. So we really do love that aspect of smaller house living. The next reason I love living in our smaller house is something that I think a lot of people really look forward to when they're downsizing or moving into a smaller home, and that is that it takes less time to clean. And I wasn't totally sold on this idea. I wasn't sure that that would be the truth until we actually moved here and I saw how much easier it was to keep things tidy. There just isn't a lot of extra space that needs to be tidied up. And so that means that if we have company that kind of calls with maybe a 5-minute warning, I don't have to really freak out about that. I know that in just a few minutes I can pull everything together. All right, this next reason is a little bit quirky, but I love the amount of light that we have in our home, and I think that has to do with the size of it, because I can stand in the kitchen, for example, and look all the way across the entire width of the house and have another window on the other side. I can see from one side of the house to the other. And likewise, if I'm upstairs and I'm in the girls' bedroom, I can see all the way across the length of our house out the boys' bedroom window. And I just think that this being able to see all the way through the house is just really, really cool. I don't know that this translates to every single smaller house, but I think that smaller houses in general are a bit more bright and light, because if you have windows on, in all the different rooms and your rooms are closer together, you're just going to see a lot more natural light than if you have larger rooms that are, spaced apart by hallways, for example. Another benefit to small house living is knowing where everyone is at any given time. And this probably would have been even more beneficial if my kids were like the toddler age and I had to worry about them running off to a quiet corner to cut their hair or scribble on the wall or something like that. But just in general, it's just really nice to kind of have a general idea of where everyone is in the house. It's easier to call them to a meal or to say, you know, it's time to head out the door or something like that. And you just kind of get a good sense of where everybody is, and there's just kind of that sense of togetherness. And that flows into another reason why I think small house living is great, and that is I feel like it brings our family closer together. Without having a sprawling layout of our house, we don't have the kids in like the game room and the parents hanging out in the living room, for example. We all sort of congregate in the same spaces together, and I think that is really great for our bonding. And likewise, our kids share bedrooms with each other. Our girls share a bedroom and our boys share a bedroom, and so the nighttime hours I know are very good for bonding for them. They do sometimes whisper to each other, you know, late into the night, and I hear them, but we just let it happen because I know it is good for their bonding. The dynamics of this might change a bit as our kids get older and want more privacy, but the way it is right now, it's just really great that we all kind of are with each other most of the time when we're in our home. It's kind of our little sanctuary away from the world, and we do enjoy it that way. Another benefit that I find with small house living might surprise you a little bit, and that is that it takes less to make the house look put together. And what I mean by that is, decorating wise, I don't need to go overboard. I am someone that I like decorating on occasion. I will change out, you know, a picture above the fireplace or, you know, a table decoration or something like that, but I'm not someone who really loves decor. And so having a smaller home, I know that if I were to try to decorate every single wall, it might end up feeling really cluttered. And so these statement pieces I have here and there are just enough to kind of get the design and get a little bit of flair in the house without feeling overdone. And to me, that is another benefit of small house living. All right, and the final reason why we love living in our small home is because we actually spend more time outdoors. We've lived in houses where we had more square footage inside, and we were just more comfortable to just kind of hang out indoors, even on those nice summer days. But here at the cottage, I find us really wanting to explore the outdoors and go outside and garden and just spend that time in nature and just to get out. And that is really, really great for your mind and your body and your soul. So there you go, that is 7 reasons why we love living in our small home. If you live in a small house and you have some reasons that you love it, go ahead and give me a comment down below and we can chat about that. I feel so blessed that we are able to live in this custom designed home that fits the needs and the wants of our specific family, and it's just such a blessing. If you have specific questions or if you just want to know a little bit more about our cottage and how it's laid out, I have done a whole house tour, which I will link below, and I also have multiple room video tours that you can check out as well. I plan to do some updates on those in the coming months. But for now, thanks so much for watching today's video, and I hope that you'll stop by the cottage again really soon.